Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Denaya. I am an all cash based budgeter. I use the cash envelope system to really just help take control of my finances. So if these are videos that you know can help you in your financial journey, then definitely keep on watching. You already know what it is, so let's get into it. Today, I'm going to be explaining thoroughly how I manage money in my 20s. I have several tips and tricks that I think will help you along your journey as well. So, with that being said, let's start with the first one, which is creating a budget and sticking to it. This is a very important step that can really help you just figure out your finances, get them in order, and track how much money is coming in and out of your bank account. It may seem like a lot of work to get started, but I can assure you it's not. Once you actually sit down and figure out how much you're spending and how much you shouldn't be spending, then it gets easier from there. There are numerous resources online and apps that can help you. Once you actually get started using the resources that are already out there, then the majority of the work is already done. All you have to do is kind of tweak it depending on like your financial, where you are financially, basically. So, after you create a budget, you just got to make sure that you stick with it. Stick with your budgeting goals to make sure that you stay on top of everything. That's pretty much it. Once you got a budget, it just gets easier from there. So, first step, create a budget. Step number 2 is establish credit. You need to establish good credit in order to qualify for things like a house, a car, a loan, things of that nature. The rule of thumb with good credit is the higher the credit score you have, which basically means when you establish credit and continuously pay like at least the minimum, the higher the credit score, the better the terms are received, which will in the end save you thousands of dollars in interest. It's highly recommended that you pay your balance on time. Each month there is a catch though. In order to really build your credit, you have to have some kind of credit history. You can't just apply for an auto loan or a credit card and you don't have any credit history. Like, yeah, it sounds kind of weird because how do you expect to build credit if you don't have credit? But you got to have some kind of credit in order to build credit, basically. In order to really qualify for things like a credit card, a house loan, a car loan, etc., things of that nature, you can become an authorized user on a friend or family's credit card. Or you can get a secure credit card, which is basically like you will have to put some money down first in order to get the credit card. So once you start with the credit card, the easiest way to improve is to regularly use the card, but be mindful of your spending. A lot of people get credit cards for the wrong reasons, me included, because when I got my first credit card, I thought it was a real big joke, and I wanted to, just spend the money, whoop-de-woo, like it was like my money, but it's not. It's essentially a loan. Like you're going to have to pay the money back. So just be mindful of your spending and make sure you at least pay the minimum every single month. Now, moving on to our next tip and trick, which is setting up an emergency fund. It is crucial in your 20s to establish an emergency fund to cover any unexpected expenses that may arise. Now, let me show y'all. This is my sinking funds binder, and I do have an emergency fund here. I have 2 emergency funds. Essentially, both of them are supposed to be used for the same thing, but one is really for like any emergencies that may arise, just unexpectedly, and the other is for my 6 month emergency fund when I do decide to move out and move into my own place. So let me see here. This is the emergency fund that I'm referring to. This is the one to help with my 6 months expense when I move out into my new place. When that will be, who knows? I have a goal in mind, but if I don't reach that goal, it's not the end of the world for me. But this is what this one is for. And then I do have another one. Let's put this back over here. I do have another one here. Let's see. This is my other $500 emergency fund. Now this one is more so for like, if anything, like what's to come about unexpectedly. Both are for when things come about unexpectedly, but one is for when I move out, 6 months emergency fund for my new place, and then for unexpected things that arise. So that's that. The goal is to put 6 months of expenses into the emergency fund. But to start, just focus on putting away as much as you can. As much as you can afford after taking care of your necessary bills, your phone bill, your rent, your car insurance, any kind of bill that is a necessity. Make sure you pay that first and then start saving for your emergency fund. It's okay to start with a smaller goal. If all you have to put away is $20 a week, then do that. Saving $20 a week, which is roughly around $3 a day, adds up to, let's see, like $1,000 a year, which is a great place to start. And always remember that starting somewhere is better than not starting at all. So once you get started, just keep building on it until you reach your goal that you set for your emergency fund. That's all that is. Now, moving on to our next one, which is saving regularly. To basically simplify this, you need to have a part of your paycheck I can't speak. You need to have not majority, but part of your paycheck get direct deposited into a savings account. And if you're like me, like how I was and had a hard time with self-control, then I would deposit the remaining amount into a savings account that doesn't have a checking account and debit card attached to it. So that way it won't be so easy for you to just be like, oh, okay, I don't have the money in my checkings. Let me just go ahead and take it from my savings. Like, no. Establish self-control and deposit most of your paycheck into that account and don't touch it. I know some online banks will let you kind of check off a box so that it eliminates it from popping up. So that's an option as well too. If you have a hard time with like going into the savings account or touching it, that's an option as well. Just turn that box off and then it'll disappear. The money will still be there, but you won't see it. So if you can't see it, then you won't know it's there basically. I hope that made sense. But okay, moving on to our next one, which is paying off your debt. So if you have student loan debt, and 10 times out of 10, all of us got student loan debt, you should want to make it a priority to pay it off in your 20s. Owing money to a lender has the potential to hurt your credit in the end if you're not taking care of it beforehand, before you get out of your 20s basically. Lenders also consider you a high risk borrower if you have large amounts of debt, which can lead to you not being able to qualify for things like a credit card or auto loan or a house loan or things like that. You need to take the time to create a clear debt repayment plan and stick to it. It's all about consistency. Once you have a budget, have a repayment plan, set up an emergency fund, set up a savings, all you have to do is be consistent with it. That's really all it takes. After you create a budget, consider how much money you can allocate toward that debt every month, every week, or bi-weekly. Another example, my debt. I have an envelope just for my just for my debt. It's all the way back here. It's the last one. So this is my envelope for debt. Right now my student loans are in forbearance, which basically means that I don't have to pay them right now. Due to COVID, they're in forbearance, so they just keep drawing them out later and later until I have to pay for them, which is in like August, I believe. So I think once August hits, I'll start to have to start paying off my student loans, which is why I stuff this envelope every time I get paid. This envelope, my emergency funds, and my savings always get stuffed. There's not a time that goes by where I get paid and I don't stuff these. But like I was saying, you need to sit down, create a budget, and consider how much you want to put in here towards your debt every month, every week, or bi-weekly, depending on how often you get paid. That's a good way to start as well. All right, and last but certainly not least, don't indulge in the bank of mom and dad. And what that means is basically in your 20s, the main goal is to be self-sufficient, which means learning to not need help outside of doing everything that you can possibly do for yourself first. Getting a job, paying your phone bill, buying your first car, etc., all constitutes as being financially independent. When I was 16, I got my first job. When I was 19, I got off my mom's phone plan and got my own phone plan. When I turned 21, I'm sorry, not 21. Just last November, I bought my first car. So I'm not saying it has to all be in that time frame or that way, basically. But self-sufficiency is key to growing up, and it's a part of your growth and development. So doing those things kind of sets you apart from actually having to not ask your parents for things all the time. So yeah, it's okay to ask our parents for things, but it's not okay to use them as a financial security blanket for situations you knew you shouldn't have been in the first place. So like if I apply for a credit card that's $5,000 and I spend all the money and I'm like, oh, I gotta go ask my mama, oh, can she help me pay it? Like, no, that's not her fault. That's not my dad's fault. That's my fault. Because why would I even go out and apply for a credit card with that amount and spend it all? Like, just don't do that. Don't cause your parents to be a financial security blanket for things that you knew you should have been doing in the first place. That's just the moral of that story. If you come to a point where you do need real financial assistance from your parents, then approach them in a mature and responsible manner. Don't come up to them and like expect for them to do it just because of your parents, because ultimately they don't have to help you. You're 20, you're an adult. Like, you should know the difference between what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. That's just the basics. All right, to conclude, I did just want to let you guys know I am in no way, shape, or form a financial advisor or an expert. I'm simply just giving my tips and personal methods that I'm using in order to become financially free. But I do know that making smart money decisions in your 20s definitely has long-term benefits that can definitely help you achieve future financial success. If you do take note, or if you did take note of everything that I said today and follow the 6 steps listed, then you're well on your way towards good credit, a debt-free journey, saving money, and saving an emergency fund for major life milestones. So, like I said, if you take the time to really, consider everything that I said and you take note, then you're good. You're good. So, that's all I have for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment. Let me know what other videos or anything else that you want me to touch on as far as my channel is concerned. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.